Fausto Pugliese, president of Cyber Trading University.
Most people always focus on the past, where as a professional day trader, we just focus on the future. You can do very well in trading, and you don't have to have a good amount of movement for the stock to go up. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for the Cyber Expo podcast. My name is Fausto Pugliese, and I had Sonny Harris here today. And we're going to talk about what the hell is going on with the market. And we're going to talk a little bit about E-minis, which is going to be pretty cool because we never had someone on the show talk about E-minis. And we're going to see how does she basically been surviving this market after 44 years. So, Sonny, welcome to the show. It's always great to meet with you. And I met you down in Florida. It was great down there. I know we had a great event with the Trade Station event. And so how's things going with you?
Really good. The event itself was phenomenal. And then when I got on the plane coming back, I had a little sore throat. And by the time I got here, it was full-blown Nova virus.
Oh, that's right. Where do you live in California?
Yeah, San Diego.
San Diego. Did you get affected by the fires at all? Or
no, they were over 100 miles away.
I know, but 100 miles was like 100 minutes. It got there so fast. They said, like, my God, it was crazy. I didn't even know there was those Santa Ana winds, whatever they call them. How unbelievable crazy they are. It's
Santa Ana wind.
Santa Ana winds, yeah, something like that. All right.
So we're having those right now.
You're having them again? Do you get them down to San Diego?
Yeah, you get the Santa Ana winds all across the ocean. And it blows really hard and it gets really cold. And then after a day or two or three, it turns into a hot wind. So it's very still.
So how do you keep your hair perfect? Because I don't think my wife could deal with, 180 mile an hour winds. A beauty parlor would make a fortune.
Oh, they're only 50 and 60 miles.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so tell us a little bit about what is going on in this market right now with the E-minis. I mean, you've been doing it for 44 years. How did you get into doing this for so long?
Well, my history is I worked for Lockheed for 4 years as a rocket scientist. And then I started a company with 3 other guys, and we were creating what became the world's leader in computer graphics software. Now, this is in the 70s. And I worked there and grew the company. We got to 105 people, and I decided to retire. So I sold my stock in the company and retired. And I didn't know anything about trading or about investing or the economy or any of that. I hadn't had any focus on that at all. So I gave my money to money managers, which I thought would be a really smart thing to do. And in the first 3 weeks, they lost $75,000.
They didn't lose money. You lost it, right?
That's right. They lost it for me.
They lost it for you, but they showed up to charge you commissions.
Then I thought, I can do that poorly on my own. So I took the money back and started learning to trade. And the more I did it, the more I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it ever since.
So when did you retire? I mean, and then you took it over. I mean, how long? I mean, was it for the 44 years? I mean, how did that basically come about?
Well, 1981. 1981, I retired when I was 30 years old.
Oh, wow. I wish I was that. 30 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
My life plans had it that I was going to retire at 40, but I made a few years earlier.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, congratulations. But apparently we're still here working, right? So.
Oh, I love working. I love working. That's my thing.
Yeah. Well, trading it's it just keeps you focused and everything else, and it's fun. So getting back to, and listen, Sonny, the same issue that you just told me, I hear this all the time from everyone out there. They gave them money. They think they did the smart decision. They gave it to some brokerage firm or mutual fund. They do the right thing. And sure enough, they end up losing their money. I know there's a lot of my students that are between the age of 50 and 90, and they've been there and they've done that too. And it's like you just said, what do I need that for? I could lose it myself. At least we could blame myself for it.
Right.
So then what happened is that you did step into the market. You took the money in your account, and and then what happened?
Well, the first year, I still consider myself to be a trader at that point, but I didn't actually enter any trades into the market, not in the E-mini. I was trading stocks, but with respect to the E-mini, I watched it for a year to try to get the rhythm and to understand how it moved and see if there's any cyclical trades in there. And, so I studied really hard for the first year. And now I have read 476 books on the stock market and economy and trading and things like that, psychology of trading. So I'm a voracious reader, and that's what got me where I am today.
So, wow, that's 400 books. I hope
Yeah.
mine was one of them. So then how did you discover trading the like, how did you, I mean, listen, there's so many styles of trading: day trading, swing trading, options trading, forex trading, all the types of trading out there. How did you find a niche that worked best for you? Because there are a lot of people in here have taken multiple courses, they're considered taking classes, they read a lot of books, they try it, it doesn't work, they quit.
Right.
Yeah, like, you're going to lose all your money, this and that. So, because you're a great story. I mean, listen, I always tell everyone, and people look at me too, to be in the business. I've been doing this for 35 years and been through every catastrophe from
Mhm.
internet bubble to COVID, and you're still here. You're obviously doing something right. So, what made you pick that market specifically?
Well, there's a magazine called Technical Analysis of Stocks and Commodities. And in the
Mhm.
back, the 3 or 4 pages, they always run a futures liquidity table. And I look at the table and I see that the E-mini is the most liquid by far. And I always say, don't buy something you can't sell. So with it being the most liquid, I knew I could get in and out with good fills. So
Mhm.
that's the first reason I did it. Then I created a little indicator called PHW, potential hourly wage. So I use this indicator to tell me where the ideal trades are, and you can see the output right here.
What on your chart?
Oh,
Okay, we'll share that really quick. There we go.
all
Let
right.
me
So
bring that up there so everybody can see it.
on this green chart, there's some printout. It says ideal equals 167,000. PHW is 60% of that. And the ideal number of trades is 92 on this chart. So I use this indicator to tell me how much potential there is in the chart. And if E-mini has the most potential, that's the one I'm going to trade. If bonds had the most PHW, I would have been trading that all this time. So I just look for the one with the highest PHW.
So you're now, are you focusing specifically on the price action of that indicator? Like, how did you design that indicator?
Well, it's basically a zigzag indicator with some bells and whistles on it. So it's just like zigzag.
Okay. Now, now everyone obviously has been really concerned about the market that's going on right now, and everyone's like freaking out. It's been a pretty volatile market. I mean, I haven't
That's
seen over these years. I mean, you always get like a direction, but it's like you really can't figure out what's really going on. I mean, you have today's a very big day. It's Liberation Day, which is tariff day. You had a new president come in, making a lot of big changes, and the only difference that I see from this president than all other presidents or any other politician is he actually does what he said he's doing. So it's like usually people just say what they want to say just to get into office, and then now all of a sudden, it's like they checked in and that's how they checked out. So, but now people starting to realize that, oh my God, he's really doing this, he's really doing that. So people taking him seriously, and a lot of these companies are taking him seriously, especially with these tariffs. What have you seen have you seen any, something that's making you look a little different on how to react toward this market? Are you sitting on the sidelines? Are you more in cash? Are you more in the equities, or what are you doing?
I am more in cash. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I sold all my stock positions and went all into cash, except for the E-mini, of course. But
What made you think that? What made you think to jump into cash?
The same kind of thing that made me think that we were going to have a crash in 1987. The top was rolling over slowly. So I can look at the Dow and 0211's when I sold out, February
Oh,
11th. And right in there, you can see it's starting to roll out. It's not going higher. It's not going a whole lot lower. And I thought, well, that's another one of these things. This is going to be a nice down. And so I sold out.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Now, do you follow the Dow or you follow the S&P?
I follow the S&P.
You follow the S&P?
But when I'm doing that kind of analysis to see if we're really going to have a crash or a sizable market change, I use the Dow.
Right. So that's what I basically do. I use the Dow, and then I kind of work side by side with the S&P. The issue with the S&P right now, the only good thing is, like, I don't know, I was listening to a couple of analysts on TV, some pretty big ones, and they all said the same thing. If it wasn't for the fabulous 7 stocks, we're pretty much flat on the Dow when you really think about it. I mean, it's like we're not really getting hurt or not, whatever it is, other than some of these big stocks everyone's familiar with, like the Teslas, the Apples, the Nvidias, all those. But what's going to make you get back into it? I mean, you're not going to sit in cash forever. I mean,
No, of course not.
Yeah. So what are you looking in that will drive you to get back into the market?
In the same way that the top was rolling over in the Dow, when it rolls up again from a low, then I'll get back in. I do want to see progress. Right now the progress is still to the downside.
Do you think we're going to go into a recession?
Well, I don't know. I think we're going to, if we're not really, really careful, we're going to fall into stagflation.
Stagflation. Okay. I think the same thing. I think stagflation is probably first before everyone starts using the R word more than anything else.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to use that one better.
I think they're going to have a lot of difficulty keeping interest rates low and employment up. It's just with these tariffs, we're going to have prices increase. So we've got more inflation. So the Fed could even raise the interest rate, which will cause a big market reaction. But it may be something they have to do.
But if unemployment drops, they're not going to raise interest rates. They will probably drop interest rates. Now, the whole philosophy of how it works?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
If unemployment drops and interest rates go up because of the tariffs, then we've got stagflation.
Then we got stagflation. That's what we're looking at. So any other, so a little bit about your style of what you do.
Is 9:00 a.m.
Thank you, Alexa.
That's right. You're at Pacific time.
Yes, I am.
So regarding about, now that we know a little bit about your style and what you're seeing, what are you telling your students? I know you run a podcast yourself. What exactly you're seeing and how you're teaching these traders to what to look for and how to trade on their own?
Well, the biggest thing that I believe in is trust the analysis. Do your analysis on your charts. Look at your indicators if you use them. Look at price action and see what's happening, and then trust the system. Now, I've tested my system over years and years and years, and I've been using the same system for 38 of my 44 years. So I know it back and forth. But this since the beginning of the year, the market has been, like you said, it's been crazy. And I call it, what do I call it? Trump chaos.
Well, I always tell everyone too, same thing. Just as us traders, don't take anything. I love a new president ever comes in because as us traders, we're the same party. It causes chaos. And if they do something, it's going to make one industry go up and another industry go down. Remember, we're traders. If you don't have no volatility, stocks not moving, like you just said, if we have stagflation, we're not making any money. You know what I mean? We need volatility of a stock to move. We don't need something that's just flat all day long. Now, regarding about your trading your students, anything that you found that, doing this for such a long time, mistakes, common mistakes, challenges that people are having that you could advise what they should be doing differently?
Well, the first thing you do is test, test, test. So you've got an idea of what you think is going to work. RSI's above 80, you're going to go long. RSI's under 20, you're going to go short. You have to test that concept. And I use TradeStation, and they have a little language called Easy Language that allows me to program those ideas. So I program the ideas, and then I test them over 9 years, the previous 9 years, just to see, is it profitable or not? If it's not profitable, can we tweak it with some other indicator or concept? If we can tweak it, then we go back and test it again over 9 years. If we can't tweak it, then we need to come up with another indicator. So I always say, look at what is true. That's what I tell students. What is true? So what is true of the market right now? You want to show my chart for a second?
You have to share again. It looks like you X'd out of it.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Well, where did it go? Hang on. Oh well, let's don't worry about it. You can cut that part out because I can't find it.
That's fine. But I can share mine in the next few moments. You can't get it back up and running. But like regarding about the easy language, I know we're going to have the owner of TradeStation on next week on the podcast. And is it hard to kind of like
Bartleman?
What's that?
John Bartleman.
John Barman's coming on next week. Yep.
Nice guy.
Yeah, very nice guy. Known for since the day I mean, I've been working with TradeStation since I think the day they started. So he's been unbelievable. They have a great everything's great there. Oh, there we go. Okay, here. So let's share so you can show you what you're talking about right here.
Okay, so I'm saying what is true of today. The green and magenta bars are in the night session. The blue and red bars are in the day session. So what's true of today? Well, it's just been up, and it's staying above the gold line on my dynamic moving average. So it's just been up. So what is true is the market is up. And what indicator would we use to say that? Well, one I think of right offhand is ADX. So you have to test it. You have to either test it by hand, doing the price action for everything that you see to be true, or you can test it using something like Easy Language. And if it's profitable, follow the system. If it's not profitable, keep working on finding one that's profitable. But follow the system is the important thing. And I think traders have a lot of trouble with that. Their emotions get in the way. They try to overtrade. Overtrading is a big one. And, they just get in their own way.
Now, regarding about why do you specifically, there's a lot of people that have accounts with different brokerage firms. Why you specifically like the TradeStation platform over other platforms?
Well, I was trading with TradeStation. My account number is 1176 out of the millions that they now have. I've been with TradeStation since 1986 when it first came out, continuously.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't switched over to anything else, although I have used Metastock, Multicharts, NinjaTrader, TC2000. I've used them all.
Okay.
But TradeStation's my go-to primarily because of their easy language.
Yeah, we use it too. We showcase in our professional trading room, and everyone has to understand that. Listen, it's not to say Schwab's a bad company or Fidelity.
No,
Some of them,
no.
yeah, they have different limitations. Some are more better for options, and some are more better for active traders and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I like TradeStation because of easy language.
Because it's easy language, right?
And it really is easy. It's very easy to program. Now, I'm a programmer also, but you don't need to be a programmer to use easy language. It's
Right.
very self-evident.
Do you do a class on teaching easy language?
I do.
Okay, there you go. All right.
I do, and I've written 3 books on easy language.
And by the way, if anybody wants to know how to do that, grab your phone. On the top right-hand corner, you see a little QR code. Just scan that QR code, and we'll get you that video. We'll show you exactly where, how to get it. And we're going to have her back, Sunny, and she'll be able to talk a little bit about that too. So looking forward to having that. So once
Excellent.
again, that'd be great. Just scan that code, and we'll get that to you. Now,
And if you will just go to YouTube and put in Sonny Harris, you'll find my stuff.
there you go. There you go. Well, even that specific one. I mean, listen, for doing it 40 years, I don't know about you, but if you go on my YouTube channel, I got 3,000 videos over the years. So people are like, where do I find it? I can't believe I even have that many. But when you broadcast every day,
Yeah.
twice a day for 35 years,
Wow.
365 days a year, yeah, it adds up
That's
pretty
a
quick.
lot of videos.
That's a lot of videos,
Yeah,
right?
I don't have anywhere near that.
So now getting back to now, how do you teach these people to do this stuff? Are you doing it on a webinar? Are you doing it one-on-one coaching? Are you doing it in a on just a video? How are you actually showing how to go about and educate them how to trade?
Well, the video that I'm thinking of is actually 5 videos because I did a 5-week seminar, which was done on Zoom. It was real time and done on Zoom and recorded. And the slides are there available along with the video for all 5 days. And I had with me Sam Tennis. Sam is the programmer who created Easy Language. So he and I have been friends for more than 30 years. And I called him up one day and said, "Hey, how would you like to write a book together?" Now, he lives in Florida and I live in California. So he said, "Sure, let's do it." I said, "Don't you want to know what the book's about?" He said, "Sure, what?" I said, "Well, Easy Language has a new kind of language that's much more sophisticated if you want to learn it. And it's called Object-Oriented Easy Language. So OOEL. And I didn't know that OOEL, but I wanted to. I wanted to learn it. So I knew Sam knew. So he taught me OOEL, and I wrote the book. And then we went through hell together editing it. It took us a year to edit the thing.
Yeah, writing a book is not easy. I wrote a book too, and it took me a while. And it's it's great. People love it. They're with you. You're an author now, but it's listen. You read a lot of them out there, so you know what's involved, how important it is, and everyone has to find what their style is. Which leads me to kind of bringing up something very important that people always kind of ask. So, doing this for so long, what challenges have you found over the years that people here are going to find starting out if they're new to trading? I mean, like you said, you retired at the age of 30. You found this out. You found out you lost money with giving your money to someone else. You could have done it yourself. What are some of the advice that you will want to leave something or mention to someone how to not be affected and mistakes or challenges you're going to have in trading?
Well, I have found that people don't want to test their strategies. They see something they think works and then they go after it and they lose money. So they come up with something else again that they think works and they lose money. And that happens over and over again. So instead of losing money, just put it on simulation mode and watch it for a while. No money, no real money being risked. And test the system. Like I said a little earlier, test the system. But people don't want to test their systems because they'll find out that it loses money. So they don't want to do it.
So basically what do you say, about a little bit more just impatient?
Yeah. Trying to get into it too fast. I recommend that people trade in simulation mode for the first year.
Yeah, I kind of tell everybody, the problem with simulation mode after a while, it just doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
And you just get used to it. I kind of just tell everyone, you don't, like, to me, simulation mode is great. Just kind of learn the platform, but you got to trade eventually. So just trade one share. I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Yeah. Or
you know,
trade the micro instead of the E.
yeah, just trade micros, because you know what? Then you start seeing, you get the trading confirmations, you start seeing it, you could track record yourself. It's actually recording the platform, because on demo mode, it doesn't really track it that much. So it's a good way of, back testing if you succeed. And I do things more on a point system. I don't tell anybody, it's not about making money. It's like seeing if you're up in points. And then
Right.
as you get better, you just trade more shares. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And if you're not making money, you don't trade more shares. You stay where you're at.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, now regarding about what we're seeing moving forward, do you see anything, Sonny, that that you're looking for, like you said earlier, when we mentioned, I know you're sitting in cash, that will get you really excited to get back into this market?
Well, let's see. This is the Dow on a daily chart. The dynamic moving average right here is flat in this little period. With that being flat, I know that's where it was rolling over, and that's the congestion, and then it dips. Now, in order to get excited about it again, it's going to have to close above the upper inner band, which I've got my mouse on. This is the upper inner band. So
Okay.
it's going to have to rise above that for me to get excited.
And how far you think we are from there? Because we're getting a little bit of a rally in the market right now.
Today we are.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a pop the last couple of days. I mean, I don't know. When I look at the Dow, like what happened like the last 3 days, it's like we're getting these big pushes up. We're getting a crash at the open, and then it's closing strong. We get a crash at the open, it's going strong. Get a crash at the open 3 days in a row.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
and if you could see that on your chart too, right there. So, when you're peaking out, when you're seeing it, what number? Is there a number that you have in plan, or is it just
Let's look
indicator
at it.
telling you?
Right now it's at 43,179.
Right. That's what I see.
That's where that line is. And the market itself is at 42,122. So, we're looking at almost 1,000 points before I'm going to be excited.
So you're looking at that, like those resistance levels that I'm looking at right here, goes back in October 18th. I see some resistance at that number. A lot of it around like December 26th, the day after Christmas. I see that big resistance. So you look at it, there was a lot of support levels right around the 43,000 back on November 20th, which is like that little sweet spot right there, But I kind of liked it. I got in. I watched it going down, but I'm kind of opposite what you do because I'm a day trader. But I kind of went in right after like 41,000, 4150, seeing his big support levels from last year. So if it did break that, then yes, the only thing that I see that you might be seeing is that we're starting to make lower lows on this Dow from when we hit the high of 45,000 and going down. So that's the issue that I see. And besides,
right now we're making higher lows.
higher lows.
This one doesn't come in as low as this one.
Well, news came out on Tesla. I don't know if you just recently, I don't know if you just heard, some big news came out. I think President Trump said he's going to relieve and what the news that came out on it? I don't know if anyone saw the breaking news. We just shared it in our room. Here's the news. I'll just post it right here so you guys can read it in the chat. So Tesla came out trading higher after a political reported that President Trump told his inner circle that Elon Musk will be stepping back from his current role.
Yes,
So,
I heard that. And that would be good for Tesla.
Yes.
They need a leader back.
Yeah, I did a couple of big videos on it. I've been long. I held it for a couple of nasty shakes, but I thought Tesla was a pretty good buy around the 250 price range,
Let's look at Tesla.
And yeah, so I got a little nervous because I've been going up and down, but looks like now that news came out, it's up about 5%, up $13 right now. So that one's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so that'd be pretty good for Tesla. and so on, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
the scrutiny. So,
Tesla, I love Tesla and I love trading Tesla, but it is a tradable. It's not an investment, because it goes way up and then it goes way back down again. Then it goes way up again.
it's been a very volatile stock. I mean, like the biggest jump up was in a long time was right after the election, ran from 250 to almost 500. So that was a big one. But you know what? You don't have to trade Tesla. There are so many other stocks. I try to tell everyone. There's TSLL. There's TSLY. I mean, I think I can't even think of how many ETFs there on that are out on
Yeah.
Tesla. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
But
leads,
I typically trade the Magnificent Seven stocks.
right.
And I like to trade things that I know, like Starbucks and FedEx and UPS and things that I know, Amazon, things that I'm familiar with in my life. So I
Now,
stay with those stocks.
Now, are you trading specifically just the equity, or are you trading the option? Are you doing any, are you doing any dividend plays or any of those stocks?
No dividend plays and no options. I found out many years ago that I could effectively lose just about every trade I made in options. So,
Really?
well, they say,
Yeah, you know what? We have a lot of options, and I'd love and I bet there's a lot of people here would like to know what your reasoning here is because, you know, um, we had Tom Sofsnoff, the founder of Thinkorswim at Tasty Trade. He was here. I mean, obviously, big option guy. I mean, we have some of the biggest option traders here, but and I know probably what your answer is because I have the same philosophy you have, but I'd love to hear what your explanation is for that.
and then I want to hear what yours is. Um, with options, I could call the direction of the market perfectly, and options decay and they expire worthless. So I didn't like it that I could say, well, this market's going to go up from here to here, and then I could lose money on the options. And they say, well, it's only like $2,000. You're protected from not losing everything, because people who trade futures are afraid they're going to lose everything, including the margin. Right. So that's why I don't trade options.
Yeah, I had the same philosophy that you said because they expire worthless. But you know what I've been doing a little bit more? I just sell options.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only people that make money overall are people who sell options.
Yeah, I
So
think that's true.
yeah, so like if you own Tesla, you know what I mean? Like you just said, expires worthless. You want to rent my stock? No problem. And you get paid
Right.
a lot of money to do it. You know
Right.
what I mean? But I'm going
True.
to eventually get it back.
Yeah.
So which is another way of doing it. And we actually had a couple of people here that on a podcast that talked a little bit about it. And I thought it was quite interesting. I know a lot of people liked it also, but that's
Yeah.
probably the only option that I basically would do.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So
I,
before we go,
I'm so busy trading the E-mini, I don't have time to learn options.
yeah, I hear you. So, do you have any last minute, anything that you could leave any last minute, advice for the traders out there before we end out? And by the way, if anyone here wants to register for Sunny's event and watch that video about it, make sure you take your phone, scan that QR code. We're going to post that link right here. So of her website and also that free trial that she has right there, the moneymentor.com. But do you have any advice that you could leave anyone off regarding about, with the 45 years experience that you have, what they should be looking out for and, how they could be the next 45-year-old trader still in this industry?
Yeah. Well, the most important thing of all is test your strategy, test your ideas, and make sure it works before you put any money in it. So that's key, I think, is to test the system before you trade. And you also need a system. You'll ask me, can I do without a system? No, that's just guessing. I'm very methodical. I'm a PhD mathematician. To me, the world looks like numbers. So test the system. Make sure that it's actually working.
All right. Well, that's great advice because I love math too. I'm not a mathematician like you or a scientist like you, but you know what? Shockingly, we do have a lot of students I do train. If they're not engineers or if they're not an accountant or whatever, because it is numbers and it does make things a little bit easier. And it's something to relate, but but make sure everyone just gets educated.
Yeah,
With that,
you don't need 3 degrees in mathematics to do this, but you do need to be logical.
well, I could tell you one thing before we go, which was really hard for me when I first got started, and you know this better than anybody. Before there was fractions, I mean decimals, we had fractions,
Right.
and I had to teach math class to people of a pizza pie, and I had to teach them eighths and quarters, and then
See,
they broke it down to 32s and 64s, and then 138s, and it was just a nightmare. And then finally got to decimals, but that kind of alleviated a lot of the headache and chaos. But you don't
yeah,
have to be a rocket scientist to kind of figure this out.
yeah.
But thanks for coming. I really appreciate having you, Sonny,
Mhm.
and look forward to having you on again. Everyone else, we'll have this recorded. We'll have some shorts made up, the highlights. Don't forget to click on that link, scan the QR code. We'll send you that video that she has, and we'll look at having her back and teach some more strategies of what's going on in the market and see what she gets back into the trading.
And
Because
if you go to moneymentor.com, that's my website. Right at the top of the website, you'll see my phone number. So if anybody wants to call me and talk about trading, that would be great.
look at that. And not too many people do that.
760-908-3070.
Perfect. Thanks, Sonny, for coming. Everyone, we'll see you back next week for our next episode. And don't forget, we are going to have the CEO of TradeStation on next week. Look forward to having him. So,
Cool.
like you say, you see Sonny on here talking, and seeing we're all fans of that platform. Well, there's no better person to kind of talk about it and ask questions when John comes and joins us next week's podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. Happy trading and trade safe.
Thank you, Fausto.